What's up, podcast world? We are back at you. Another episode. This life ain't for everybody. Again, brought to you first and foremost by the leader in all things fun, all things whiskey. Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, to be exact, the one and only, the iconic Jack Daniels. Enjoy it responsibly. Never allow underage drinking. Thank you, Jack Daniels, for everything you do. I've been telling our guests today about some of my excursions I'm getting ready to take off with the team JD. We're going to be at Sturgis with them. We're going to be at Eric Church with them. We're going to be at the World Champion Barbecue Championships in Lynchburg, Tennessee in October. We're going to be doing some MCing out there and musical events out there. We might even see my guest out there. She is awesome. You guys have maybe seen her. You guys and girls have seen her social media. She does cooking. She does songwriting. She does music. She has a brand new EP that just came out that I can't wait to talk about because I absolutely loved it. She's got a killer song called Stoned. Remind me how it is. Stoned Age. And it's like just her play on words, her ability to write songs. She's got this new song on her EP that is about quit going left to right, but then it circles back and says you better do right and put a ring on the left and stuff like this. I'm going to get into how she writes songs. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I said that right, but it's left, right, right? What is it, Hannah?
Left, right on it. No, it's if you want it, you better put a ring on her left, right now. I'm not one of them who's hot. I'm not hot to get married, but I know a bunch of girls that are. And anyway, and my buddy Dylan Carmichael and his now fiance were over at the house at Christmas time having supper. And anyway, she was fussing at him because she was ready for a ring, and it just got my head thinking. And I went in to write a little while after that, and my producer had the title Left, Right, and out fell that chorus, and we just had to write it down.
I didn't do a real good job of describing the song, but when you sang it, it goes together in different ways. You know, you're saying if you want to do right, put a ring on her left, right? Is that what it's saying? But again, it's like not being wishy-washy too.
Yeah, no, it's called Left, Right. It's just a play on words. Quit going left, right on it. You'll be left, right there. One more. Yeah, you know.
So
it's just a play on words. It's just that they just tell them to check it out. And if anything, the steel guitar solo is well worth it. It's very Skinner with steel guitar. It's great.
But left, right means kind of like talking in circles and just going like kind of like what I'm doing right now. But if you really,
it didn't have any meaning for me. It was just I was channeling Roger Miller and Beyonce at the same time, and that's how it fell out of my mouth, and so that's how it made it on the song.
Well, y'all go check it out.
The first chord, the chorus. You're so darling.
I really, really love the song, and I jammed to it. My 10-year-old daughter loves it. But you guys have heard her voice now. We have Hannah Dasher on the podcast today. I was watching the last couple days in the Ryman and the 10-year anniversary of the hat I'm wearing, Whiskey Jam, our boy Ward Gunther, what Whiskey Jam means to Midtown and losers and winners and that whole area of Music City, USA, Nashville, Tennessee. You're friends with Ward. You're his guest this week as Rising Stars in Country Music.
On Apple Music. Country Risers. Yeah, that was fun. I love Ward. He's the one that coined the term Hannah Damn Dasher, actually. That was back when they were starting Whiskey Jam. And, I mean, no women really played it at all. But that's where I was introduced to, like, Channing Wilson and, well, like Chris Stapleton and Jamie Johnson. Obviously, I was a Jamie Johnson fan. Anyhow, but I wrote some with Channing, and Ward heard my stuff and had me get up there and start playing Whiskey Jam, and he started calling me Hannah Damn Dasher.
Well, you mentioned JJ there, and I was just texting him. He's one of I love him. But I've heard, like, you've been compared to Jamie Johnson back at that time in your career, right?
They started calling me a female Jamie Johnson.
Okay.
That's a big boots to fill. And TikTok calls me the brunette Dolly Parton. So whatever. But I'm just me. I'm just Hannah.
But what do you think resembled Jamie Johnson as far as your music went, or your stage presence, or your vocal rate? What resembled Jamie?
Well, my music tends to be I won't say masculine, but it's not girly. You know, I have nothing against female singers or songwriters. I mean, hell, I'm a fan of. I love my Reba, and I think Miranda's wonderful. But as far as my influences go, I've just am And as far as what I listen to, I like man music. Man music turns me on. So my listening audience is predominantly male. Well, it's 52-48. So 52 male, 48 female. And I like it that way. But yeah, I just didn't really sing girly stuff. I don't do whiny girly stuff. It's more so, unisex, like Stone Age. Man, a dude could sing it.
Let me ask you this then, Miss Hannah Dasher. Can you Terry Clark anything and do some of the male impersonations like Miss Terry Clark does? I'm sure you've heard her do the Willies and the George Jones and any of that. Can you imitate Jamie Johnson at all? Can you sound like Jamie at all?
Definitely not. I could probably, I can imitate Tyler Perry, Medea, and people like that. And anyway, but I'm going to leave that with her. I think she and Merle Haggard do a much better job of voice impersonation. Y'all should check that out sometime when you can. Merle Haggard does a really great job of Buck Owens and Johnny Cash, and he does a good one. Oh,
I love Merle Haggard. So influence-wise, Hannah Dasher.
I've been too busy, balancing my time between a fender and a frying pan. The face of the new Telecaster that's coming out in September. I'm so excited. It's vintage red, retro red.
Wow, what an accomplishment. Fender's a big name. We're talking.
Well, and to think, I didn't play just a few years ago, but Jaron Johnson, that's who I call JJ, not Jamie Johnson, but Jaron Johnson, frontman of Cadillac 3.
Yeah.
Gave me my first Telecaster, which is a honky-tonk guitar with a rock and roll pickup in it, and said, here, now learn it. And that was what I needed. That was the confidence boost that I needed. He's one of my guitar heroes, and hell, I love the Cadillac 3.
I love them too.
And so yeah, I just started playing, and I don't shred per se, but I fake it. I take 3 or 4 solos in my set because hell, if I'm gonna sit there and hold it, I better do something with it, right?
Does it bug you when artists don't and they kind of just fake it with just strumming on it for most of their set? I'm not going to say any names, but there's a lot of big time stars that just hold the guitar. Does it bug you at all? Is it a pet peeve of yours at all?
It doesn't bug me. It's just one of those things that I felt like as an entertainer that I needed to do. I don't judge anybody else for it. And you know what? It just makes me look better.
Okay,
I'm really not that good.
I bet you are. Back to influences, Miss Hannah Dasher. Let's just talk about 2 of them real quick. Let's start with Jamie Johnson again. Why is he so good? And do you consider him one of the best all-around voices ever in country music?
He would be one of my songwriting influences. I didn't listen to a lot of country music in college. My parents were going through a divorce, and it pained me. It made me cry to listen to country. And so Jamie Johnson is one of those artists that kind of brought me back to it. And Eric Church, especially. The Sinners Like Me album came out, and I got back into country music. I thought, hell, this is the stuff I want to listen to.
So you got an Alabama boy, and then where's Church from?
East North Carolina. My number one is it's a toss between Alan Jackson as a songwriter, obviously, and Tom Petty, but Hank Williams Jr. as an artist and a stylist and a songwriter and musician. I mean, he is just, he's one of my all-time favorites.
Bocephus is, huh?
Bocephus, yes. And then as a vocalist, Aretha Franklin would probably be my number one.
Aretha.
So I'm very well-rounded, I guess you could say.
Any hip hop in there? Are you a fan of rap at all?
I would love to collaborate with Outkast and Snoop Dogg one day, actually. Yes. I grew up in the Dirty South, so of course I get down to some of that. But, after a couple songs, I'm good. Kind of like bluegrass. I love to sing it, too. After a few songs, though, I'd put the rock and roll back on or put the George Strait back on.
Does it get on your nerves when you hear the words Roll Tide, being a Bulldog and a graduate of University of Georgia? Does it really make you dry heave like that when you hear Roll Tide?
Yeah, really does. It really does. I should write that on my refrigerator. Maybe I'd eat less.
Hey, that's not a bad idea right there. I mean, I don't think that you need to eat less, but I mean, if that is a form of a nutrition plan, maybe you just put the words that make you throw up on your refrigerator.
Yeah. Well, all this stuff I'm having to cook for. I mean, I've got a double chocolate pound cake in there right now that I'm trying to avoid and save for my company. And we just hit 1.3 million followers on TikTok. Isn't that wild?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just doing pound cake and I've got some meal prep chicken I need to do on my TikTok. this week too, but it's hard. I mean, hell, it's when you're in front of the camera, you gotta, especially having to do a lot of TV appearances and things, whatever. Now it's held me accountable, so I'm just pushing away a little bit.
So you're a girl that's from the South where food is prevalent. It's a social aspect down the South. There's no better place in the world for food, not even Italy or France, than the southern part and southeastern part of the United States, in my opinion. What are some of your go-tos that you grew up on? I know that chocolate pound cake is one. I saw a picture of you with it online this week on, I think, Instagram. But what are some of your go-tos that you kind of pride yourself in?
As far as what
favorite meals, favorite Southern flair. What's your favorite Southern flair, Miss Hannah?
Well, my favorite food to eat is fried chicken, but I don't like to fry it. I'd rather somebody else do it for me. It smells up my kitchen. It's too much damn trouble. But I can. I mean, I prefer my beef roast to most. My mother's or my shrimp and grits. I prefer mine to most. And yeah, I'd say pound cake for sure. My macaroni cheese, I prefer that to most. But hell, I mean, I'm just an opinionated Southerner who was raised by a bunch of opinionated Southern cooks. So. And hell, when you keep having get-togethers back home, you didn't just have a get-together. It was a fish fry. It was about, or we're having a barbecue Saturday, or it was all about the food. We're having an ice cream supper. I mean, it's all about the food.
Where when you start talking about your mac and cheese, I've been doing quite a bit on the Traeger. There's some different kinds of grilling mac and cheeses that you can do. What sets yours apart? Can you give me any secrets?
Are you doing like the Al Fragoni? Do you follow that guy?
No.
Oh my gosh, he's loving. He's always got ZZ Top or AC/DC playing in the intro of his videos. I'll just remind me. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
But my macaroni and cheese, I think most people's that I have, it tends to be a little dry. And all my black friends tell me that I make black girl macaroni cheese, which I take that as a compliment because I think the secret is a lot of canned milk. And in the South, we use a lot of eggs in it too. But I just think if you're going to put eggs in it, you need to make sure you got enough moisture.
Canned milk and eggs is the secret to a good macaroni and cheese. This is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
What kind of cheese?
Oh, I use mozzarella, and you got to shred your own too. I use Sharp as well. I just think all that pre-shredded cheese has so much wax and stuff on it. It just, the texture and the flavor is just so much better when you shred your own, if you have the time.
So where are you? Tell me the story where you're at. How is it conceived? You already told me about how Hannah Damn Dasher came about with Mr. Ward. You had T-shirts that said this. Where are you and what's going on when you take a great country hit like Stand By Your Man and turn it into this passion with culinary art, cooking, food, your love of food? Where are you and how does this happen? Because I love it. Stand by your pan. You have a great personality. You know how to cook. This is pretty badass. Now, 1.3 million followers on TikTok is no joke. Huge marketing platform. How does this come about?
So quarantine hit last year, a year and a half ago now. And so no one was touring and I had to do something. And I wanted to make my label pay attention to me. And to let them know that I still existed. And so since we couldn't go in to record the studio or do anything, I figured I'd try to test out this new TikTok platform and see if I could find an angle on there that I could grow. And so I just had a hunch. I copyrighted the Stand By Your Pan idea years ago because I thought that one day I might want to host a comedy-infused late-night cooking show like Jimmy Fallon meets Paula Deen, and host musical guests and whatnot on there. But I just started doing some videos and hell, it took off. I had no idea that would. We went from, I was at like 11.9 thousand followers when I started to now we're at 1.3. We would be past that, but I will tell myself TikTok will suppress your followers if you use too many hashtags or if you start buying any ads. For any of you who are listening, who are wanting to get into TikTok, I would advise you against it because anyway.
Don't buy ads or don't get into TikTok.
As soon as the label got involved, my TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that
we just jumped up 100,000, so that's good.
I thought they would treat you better, though, Hannah, if you bought ads from them. They don't?
So if you buy an ad, but you don't continue to do it. So TikTok will suppress your numbers to make you
do it again.
Do it again so that you get back to your old growth rate, if that makes any sense. It's crooked, but that's kind of what they do. And I learned the hard way. But I'm just so grateful though for the platform and for the I mean, it's been a great place to showcase my music. I mean, I sing the intro, Stand By Your Pan, and I can't get through one of my shows without singing it too. But the recurring comment that I see is, I don't like country music anymore, but I love your stuff. You know, or I don't like country, but I love your stuff. Or why aren't you on the radio yet? So I think it's been a great platform to start showcasing my music.
You made a comment that somebody might have mentioned you're not on the radio yet. Is there like near future plans of this? Are we going to see you on the highway soon with one of these new singles?
Well, that is the hope, and that is the plan. The label's promised me radio tour in the fall. I'll hold my breath. We'll see when that happens. But I feel like I'm Nashville's best kept secret. Kind of like, I don't want to compare myself to Stapleton, but kind of like Chris Stapleton was years ago. Just respected around town. He'd been there for years, and everybody believed in him. But it took somebody like Justin Timberlake to say, "Hey, this guy exists," and Stapleton had enough. He had enough bite to go with the bark, you know.
Yeah, because he's in Nashville locally. He's in town locally with the Still Drivers for years. He comes out. He comes out with "What Are You Listening To," which doesn't get much radio success. Then Traveler hits, which is an amazing body of work. It gets very little airplay. And then all of a sudden the award show comes on and him and Justin do their thing. The whole world goes nuts. It shows all of you stars in the crowd going crazy for it. With Little Big Town and Zach Brown, everybody's looking at it like, wow, this is it. And then all of a sudden Chris is selling out every arena in the country. There we go.
So I just need a platform like that. I just need somebody with some credibility to come along and say, hey, she exists. Kind of like Eric Church did for Ashley McBride and like Luke Bryan did for Cole Swindle. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep trying to build my platforms the best way that I can. And I'm praying for some big management to come along that's going to help me do those things. A good manager, Chad, can take a monkey to the top.
Who do you want?
This monkey intends to stay there.
Who do you want? Mr. Levitan? Which manager do you want in Nashville?
I love him. Oh, well, I guess, when does this thing air?
You tell me when you want it to air. I don't want you to hold back if I need to hold it off.
I just think, well, what you run into here, though, is they tend to compare females, like they tend to put us together. So like Q Prime, where Eric Church and Brothers Osborne and those guys are, would be an awesome fit for me. But they've got Ashley McBride over there, a dear friend. I love her voice. I think she's so damn talented. But we are too much of the same animal as far as we have the same audience. We're not the same thing, but we have the same audience. So it would be seen as a conflict of interest to go over there. You know what I mean? Mary Hilliard would be awesome. Dirk Bentley and those. I mean, she's huge, very powerful. She manages also my friend Kaylee Hammett, who is, my age, or actually Kaylee's a little bit younger than me. But there's a lot of asks that, there's opportunities that would have to be divided. So it's just, it's a matter of finding a team that doesn't have, I hate to say a female act, because I consider myself one of the boys. But there again, my name is Hannah, and I'm not going to change it. So it's a lot of asks.
Do you, when you start talking about management and the game, the Nashville game, it can be rough. I mean, there's a lot of people that get the balls or whatever you want to say. Excuse me if that's too frank with you, but to move there and try it, you did that. You moved there. You've been there for a minute. Is it a way?
I did it backwards though. I did it backwards. So I moved here 11 years ago, and I got a publishing deal fairly quickly. I got a major publishing deal fairly quickly. But I mean, publishing deals and a major record deal and the agency deal with William Morris. Like I did all that without management. And most people get a manager first, and then they do the pub deal, then they get the record deal, then they do, then they get all the other things. And I kind of did it backwards because I didn't know any better, and I'm just used to driving my own train. But but now it's gotten bigger than I can just handle by myself. And I've been blessed to have some dear friends along the way helping me and offering me their time and resources. My dear friend Brooke Antonopolis has been helping me, and my buddy Johnny Cloherty, and my personal assistant is a dear friend of mine that I met on the road with Ashley McBride. And yeah.
So you've put in your time. You have all of this success when you first get there. Did it ever come to a point to where you wanted to give up? Adam Hood wrote a great song about taking his toys and going home back to Alabama from Nashville. And, the winters were hard. Adam Hood's genius. Brent Cobb, genius, in my opinion. These guys, they're so good. And when they write about, Brent's got a song on what album is it on? It's on Providence Canyon about, one day the path will clear and I'll get my chance, but there's too many jacked up trucks with tailgates in the way right now. Such a clever way of describing Nashville, right?
When the dust settles, I'll get on down the road.
Exactly.
I love it. Brent and I are kind of the black sheep from Georgia. I love Adam Hood too, but hell no, I've never given up. It's never been an option for me. Never been an option.
Good
no, I mean, this is God planting this in there's some seed in my gut. I mean, I was blessed to know from an early age what I wanted to do. I could sing before I could talk, and it's just I'm just a late bloomer, Hoss. I had to wait for the trees to be cleared so I could pave my own lane, and that's what I'm doing. And I appreciate my buddies, John Party and even Luke Combs for making this country lane wider for acts like me to start coming up. I had to wait my turn. I didn't do the bro thing. If I could have, I would have, to quote Brent Cobb. Hell, good for them. I think there's been some great music that's come out of this town over the last 20 years, but I was too country at the time for the labels or whatnot. So,
what did your comment mean that John Party, Luke Combs, and Ashley McBride paved a wider road? What does that mean for the generic country music listener? What did they do? Because I love all three of them.
Well, they're more traditional. Cody Johnson is probably a good one too, but they're traditional, especially John Party. They're traditional country acts.
I like it.
Compare their sound to Dan and Shay, or compare their sound to Tyler Rich, good buddy of mine, love him to pieces, or Sam Hunt. It sounds also a great guy. It's just a little different. Like a lot of those guys don't have steel guitar, and there's not a whole lot of tracks going on in the background. It's more of a traditional country music sound. And that's the lane that I'm in, if you will. I built upon that. It's nostalgic, and it's a little rock and roll, but there's a fresh thing about it too. And that's why it's going to work commercially.
I think a lot of the people that you just named aren't country music. And I know that you're not going to reply to this. And I know that I'm not politicking with you. And I'm not going to get on
everybody I mentioned was from the country genre. Everybody I mentioned, they're all good.
No way. There is no way Sam Hunt's country music. Now, I like Sam. And Sam's a great looking guy and a great athlete and a great songwriter. But it ain't country. And Tyler, great guy. Watched him last week with Party right here in my hometown. Great dude. But here's the deal. Wait, who else did you just mention?
I'm not allowed to say things like that.
Florida Georgia line, not country. Okay, now look, they're all talented as heck. I am not going to sit here and say they're not deserving of their success. And I love that they collaborated with Nelly, because I think Nelly's more country than they are in a lot of ways, and he's a badass rapper. But
true, but I'm not going to sing that shit. It's not me.
Okay, good. So here's what I'm going to say though, is that when you said that John Party's a traditional country act, that's what we need. That's why when I see John doing his thing and doing the Wrangler and doing the hat and doing the ropings and the rodeos, Cody Johnson, I just watched last Friday night, the way that he interacts with the crowd and seeing that he does not want to make Waylon or Merle or George roll over in their grave like a lot of shit on the radio today will. That's what I love. Now, don't get mad at me for saying this, please, Anna. Please don't tell anybody that I said that, because I don't want people to think that I think that way.
I'm not getting mad at all. This is your show and your opinion. And honey, I bleed red in that sense. So I got you loud and clear. Absolutely. I have another reason I'm called Hannah Damn Dasher, because I'm not very filtered. But the broader my outreach or my audience has become, the more sugar coated I've had to make my tongue.
I respect that, and I like that. And Brent Cobb educated me on this podcast. He's been on several times. He said country music's going to do what country music's going to do, and I get that. But there's a difference between the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, which is probably the greatest era of country music in the history of the genre. Things have changed, and but my whole point is, and we'll stop this conversation at this. That's the reason why you haven't got your turn in a lot of ways, is because it's not country music and you are country music. And it's crazy to me that it takes that enough, I guess, wherewithal of knowing what country music's supposed to be, that some kind of record company or label or producer is going to have to put a stop. It's going to have to revolve back someday. It just has to. It's got to go from Big Machine and the Florida Georgia Lines and what Bruchette has done. It's got to revolve back to frickin' country music, in my opinion. But I'm a nobody. I'm just this kid from Reno, Nevada. Well, I used to be a kid. I'm a man now from Reno, Nevada, that just has his opinion on what happened. Like, I had Travis Tritt on here, and I'm like, you're some of the best music of all time. Like Travis Tritt and Jamie Johnson, or what Jamie did with George Strait when they wrote that song Kicked Out of Country. It just blows my mind. I know that things are going to evolve, and I know that things end. I get it. I know that everybody's going to have their turn. But if it's country music radio, it should be country music. And there is a such thing as country music.
No, I'm there. But you know what? Patsy Cline, that sound was pop to her, the Nashville sound of the symphony. She and Owen Bradley went round and round and round because she wanted to be Hank Williams and he wanted her to be bigger than that. And she did. She performed at Carnegie Hall, but the sound for its day was pop. And Dottie West won the first Grammy for the country music genre in 1964 with a song that, it's predominantly still guitar, but it was a pop crossover. So, but pop is short for popular. All that to say, I think good music will stand the test of time, and I don't think it has to have
I love that. You should do a sermon on that and a campaign on.
I wrote The Tree.
What is your legacy? I love the whole thing about the roots. I love the Tree song. But
that's what it's about.
When I'm 80 years old in 40 years, when I'm 80 years old, I promise you we'll still be listening to Merle Haggard. And I bet you we're listening. I bet you we're listening to Waylon, and that music that stands, what you just said, stands the test of time. And a lot of this music that is out there today will be forgotten. It will be forgotten. And it's sad because I understand songwriting and talent, but I think, what about Dolly Parton? Was 9 to 5 country?
No, that's pop.
That was pop, right? So Dolly was a crossover artist a lot too.
Very much so. But good for her. I mean, I would like to be a representative of the genre. But, I'm always going to be country music. Country with hell, like I said, I want to collaborate with Snoop Dogg. I've got a lot of rock and roll buddies in the rock and roll industry that I'd like to do a collab record with. I've been talking to my buddies at Goodbye June, and I think my Whiskey Myers boys. I think we'd have a ball. Cadillac 3. We've got some songs we've done together, and eventually I want to release a rock and roll project. Just you mentioned Bobby earlier, Kid Rock, one of the best entertainers in the world. If you go to his show, just sit tight. If you don't like the song, one song you're hearing, the next song might be gospel, or the next song might be rock and roll, or it might be hip hop, or it might be metal. I mean, he is just, you can't pigeonhole him. He's too big to put into one little place. And in all humility, I'm that kind of an act. You can't just, I'm not just one little thing. There's a lot of me, but my roots are definitely rooted in traditional country music.
I like that. I like traditional country music. I love Kid Rock. I love when he gets behind the turntables at one of his shows and goes off Run DMC style. I love all of I think he's got mad skills and talent. But you know what I love about Bobby Ritchie is that he has a huge amount of admiration and love for traditional country music. And what he's done with George Jones, or what he did with Jamie Johnson at one time, and what he continues to do with Bo Cephas. I mean, the guy he knows. I don't
drink liquor anymore unless Kid Rock's around.
You won't?
When he and Bobby are on the same bill, he pulls the liquor out, but he won't drink liquor anymore unless Bobby Ritchie's around.
Bo Cephas won't, huh?
That's the truth.
Brown liquor?
Dark liquor.
Dark liquor.
Yeah, funny, that Jim Beam.
Do you like Jack Daniels?
I love Jack Daniels. It goes, I put it in my pecan pies. I love my Eric Church single barrel. I'm down to one drop. I sure could use some more.
Oh, well, I'm going to get your address again, and we just did our own barrels with Jack Daniels, and I'm going to send you some of our custom whiskey. I got 2 bottles from Eric. I got a signed bottle from Eric. It's so awesome. Of his, it's his whiskey signed. It's so badass. And then the master distiller at the time was Jeff Arnett that did that whiskey with EC. And I had a bottle of Eric Church signed by Jeff Arnett, the master distiller in Lynchburg as well. It's crazy.
Look at you.
So lucky. So lucky.
Look at you. So what are you shooting? Like, who are you endorsed by? Are you like I don't know if it's Cross Canyon rifle or no, you're using shotguns. What are you? Are you Benelli man?
Oh, look at you. You know Benelli. That's all I shoot. Benelli. They're 10 years as our title sponsor.
Nice.
On the TV show.
Nice.
I shoot a lot with a lot of your friends that you've been naming. That's why I love this. I love having people like you on that get it, because it's like, I'm going to say a name that kind of helped me put all of this together. This is how I got my introduction into Nashville, for a real quick story. In 2009, we were going to air with this national TV idea about just bringing music and cooking and resources and conservation and hunting and compassion for the animals, family, fun, all this outdoor stuff. It's going to be called The Fowl Life. And there's a big convention every February in Nashville called the National Wild Turkey Federation, NWTF. I go there. And I'm working with a gun company at the time that was before we got on with Benelli. The first 3 years of the show, we didn't have Benelli. But I had met a guy named Clark Dixon from Mississippi, south of Jackson. And he said, hey, I want you to come to this turkey camp with me, which was going to be a month later, maybe 2 months later in April, in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So I run up there and I walk into the house and it's late. We got there late from traveling, had to go to Walmart and get our hunting license, all this shit. I hear this song being played on the back porch. And it's like, I was down home Southern, y'all. I don't need nothing. And I'm like, what is that? Who is that? And I walk out and there's this guy named Leith Lofton with his feet up playing the guitar. And I'm sitting there going, dude, I love you. So I talked to him and I introduced myself and I said, this is what I'm getting ready to do in the hunting industry. I want to use your music. So he licensed me that song that him and Drake wrote. I got that song, and then Leith gave me What You Gonna Do in the Money All Gone that he wrote with Drake. That's how it started. So the next year at NWTF, Hannah, a year later, here comes Leith to play in our booth. He's got his guitar and he starts jamming, and all these people crowd around. And then he brings in John Party, and John Party just had a song come out called I'm Always Picking Up What I Can't Put Down. And John starts playing. And I'm like, look at this reaction. Look what's going on. So right there, my fascination with bringing all of that together. And now we go there every February. Bobby Johnson gives us the upstairs of Whiskey Bent. Last year, Brent Cobb played it. The year before, Jamie Johnson played the party for us. And we put on this big conservation party upstairs. And now it's tradition. I go there 5, 6, 7 times a year. But because of Leith Lofton, I met Drake White. And then Drake White introduced me to his tour manager at the time, Ben Ratliff. And that's where my horizon started to take off, is that Ben is so giving and just such a badass human being that he cares so much about other people being successful that he just started opening all these doors for me. You, Brent Cobb, Adam Hood, Dylan Carmichael, you name it. A lot of this has happened because of Ben Ratliff. And now me and you are sitting here, and it's just, it's like that group of people that Ben has introduced me to, whether it's Charlie Argo or the Sweet Tea Trio girls. They're hunting fools, from Alabama. Anyway, all of this has come about because Ben he wanted to see it happen. And it's just so cool to see it coming into fruition, to where you and I get to talk now and we know all of these people and have all this common thread.
I love it. Oh, Leith Lofton. I love it. I call him Lucius. And those of you here, listen, he looks kind of like a young Clint Eastwood a little bit. He's from not Good, Bad, and Ugly, but he's kind of like Outlaw Josie Wells.
Outlaw Josie Wells.
He's got his own thing going. And Drake's my brother from another mother. Those are all good boys, and they all look out for me, and it really does mean a lot. But yeah, man, I'm proud of you. Holler if you ever need arm candy at one of these events. That's my kind of boys.
Well, we're going.
Around.
We're coming. Yeah. You were on Drake's show a couple weeks ago, weren't you? On the Wednesday night deal?
I was. I love him. Drake's so great. His tour manager, Zach Knudsen, actually took the album artwork for my the half record. And that George Jones, that Possum remake, shot that I did of George Jones, that black and white here in my living room. Zach took that, and Drake's surrounded by a lot of talent, and he and Whiskey Myers now share the same manager, my manager Bruce Kelmick. I love him to pieces. But I just hope big things for Drake and his new project he's got coming out. It's going to be good.
Yeah, man, I remember the first time I ever heard like Simple Life and then went and saw him at Revival. And I mean, Drake can rip. Drake, him and Alex are awesome people. What is the plan for you? Let's get into what you said you might have. What's that?
Yeah, what's next for HDD?
Yeah, talk to me.
I'm doing a You're Gonna Love Me tailgate tour. Well, in between, I'm co-headlining Chinook Fest with my boys, Band of Heathens and Quaker City Nighthawks. That'll be fun. And I'm doing some shows with my boys, the Steelwoods, through October. That'll be fun. They're a great band. If you are a Leonard Skinner fan, they're probably the closest thing. If you like Jamie Johnson and Leonard Skinner.
Rest in peace, Rowdy.
Rest in peace, Rowdy. What a great guy. But
what a great guy.
I'm doing some shows with them. But when I'm not playing with them or headlining like Eddie's Attic coming up, I am, because I didn't get on the tour that I wanted to. I'm making my own tour. And so I'm going to the arenas and the parking lots of the arenas and amphitheaters of where my heroes are playing. And I'm going to play to their fans. So I hate to give it away, but end of September, or the end of this month, you can find me in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Raleigh. Those Osborne are playing. And you might see me. There's Eric Church is playing in September in Lexington, Kentucky, and one in Ohio. And I just might show up there too.
Wow, that's a badass little deal. Now, is this something to where Eric Church and Brothers Osborne know about this?
Brothers O, yes. Brothers O, they know, and their day-to-day knows, and their day-to-day is theirs and Eric's. But I'm more of a don't ask, or ask forgiveness, don't ask permission kind of a thing. But I did call Natalie Osborne, TJ and John's sister. I was like, hey, just wanted you to know I'm planning this. Is this going to piss anybody off? She says, that's so badass, Hannah. She said, oh, my God. She's like, they're going to fucking love this.
I love it. No, I like it. I like it.
So, but yeah, I mean, hell, I didn't go on the tours that I wanted to. I don't have the management to put me on that. And I mean, I want the world to notice me. So yeah, I'm coming to them. I'm going to the parking lot with a Ford dealership collab. And I'm going to perform for 30 minutes on the tailgate to the tailgaters at those shows.
Well, that is a cool ass idea. You need to come out west. You need to come out and do a little gig for us.
Well, I'll be out there with Justin Moore in Laughlin, Nevada. How far are you?
7-hour drive. But when is that? When is Justin in Laughlin? Is that in September?
That's at Harris Casino, probably, or at the Golden Nugget. I don't know one. I was out there with Hank a while back. God, that was so fun. November the 11th or 12th. I'm not looking at my calendar, but it's in, I think, second weekend in November. I'll be out there with Justin.
Okay, so what if I went to work on putting? Are you traveling with Justin, or are you responsible for all your own stuff?
No, Lainey is doing the majority of that tour with him, so I got like a couple spotty dates. I'm just going within driving distance of Nashville, if that makes sense. Like, no more than like an 8-hour trip. If I need to do a fly date, I can, but I would have to coordinate with the Ford dealership or Chevrolet dealership in that vicinity.
Well, we should talk about you coming up to Reno Tahoe and having us hire you to do a gig right after the Justin Moore.
By all means, yes. Book me while I can. Absolutely. I love that. I love my Justin Moore. Great guys. Very talented band. Very talented band, actually. Really,
he's a hit maker, man. He's about to have another number one.
Golly. Which one?
Shit, whatever one's right at number 4 right now. He just had Why We Drink a few months back, and now he's about to go number 1 again. He came on the show, and my mom, that was our summer jam during COVID, and my mom said, do you think he'll play it? And so he dedicated it to my mom, Faith, on the podcast, and then sang Why We Drink.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I've been meaning to get on there too. JR actually gave me this picture up here, this old picture on my piece that was hanging in Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter's office.
No way.
Anyway, so my whole house is like a honky tonk museum. I've got just a bunch of old stuff sitting around.
I love it.
This is one of the best duck dogs that ever lived. Do you know Marty Fisher, Shotgun Journal?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's my Uncle Marty.
Really?
so he and my daddy grew up together. They're best friends. And Uncle Marty was his only child, so he and Daddy were like brothers. Anyway, but that is Dixie. You can see that. She was like a field trial dog with
the
little
yellow,
chain of
the yellow, or the black lab.
Black lab. Anyway,
very cool.
I don't know the story, but hell, Daddy remarried, and that woman wasn't into duck hunting, so he doesn't do any of that stuff anymore.
Oh, he can't quit because of that. You love what?
I said, but I sure do love boys that do.
You do, huh? You like the hunting fools, huh?
Well, I mean, I just I don't know. I guess they say you always, not that I have a type, because I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I have a type, I reckon. They usually a man that's good with a gun and that knows the George Strait 50 #1's album and can go deep catalog on Skinner with me.
Damn, sounds like you're describing Leith Lofton. He's married, Hannah.
He's married. I love him to pieces. No. I didn't come here to advertise for a man. I've got my hands full right now. I'm just saying.
I like that handkerchief that you're folding up.
I know. I've got this daggone. There's a cold that's going around, and so I've got the sniffles, and I just didn't want to have my nose running on camera.
It's all right. The Ashley McBride comments that you made.
She's great. Yes.
The song that she did about one night standards, like that is some of the cleverest shit that I've ever heard a female sing. Like anybody, like that song. Remember when Sammy Kershaw did Third Rate Romance? Remember about?
Yeah, he covered that.
He's one of the, he did, but he's one of the greatest. Like Sammy Kershaw, Politics, Religion, and Her, and when he did Chevy Van, like Waylon did, the guy's amazing. I miss Sammy Kershaw singing. He used to come out here on tour all the freaking time. I haven't seen him forever. But that song, One Night Standards, that's a freaking badass play on words and that entire hook in there. I had to bring that up because I'm a big fan of hers. And when I said Leith Lofton, it reminded me that they had written 2 songs together, and one of them made the last album, and I can't remember if it was Better on the Water or there was one song that Leith Lofton co-wrote on one of her last albums.
I love the Velvet Red song. I do. Velvet Red's so good. She's one of those few female voices that I can listen to on repeat.
Oh, wow. What a statement. What a statement.
She crashed my bus at country concert. My Lord. We smoked a pack of cigarettes together, and I can't hit hardly a note since then, but love you, Ashley. But she got on the bus. She started singing the chorus to You're Gonna Love Me, which is one of the focus tracks off of the Half record that I just put out.
Yeah, I love that song. I really do. I really do like the Half record. It's very, very well done. I didn't do a very good job of explaining the Put a Ring on It song. It's a great play on words. And I made sure that I knew what I was talking about. You did write the song. You're a co-writer. You're a writer on that song. I just like that wittiness and the cleverness of a song. I don't like cubicle country. I like stuff that hits you in the gut. And I think that song, I mean, all of the songs on the new record, the Half record, are badass.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, there's a lot of patriotic, pro-America, I don't know, just there's something for everybody on there. The label picked 2 of their favorites, and I picked 2 of mine or 3 of mine. But I can't wait for you to hear the whole project, the whole record.
What's the name of it? Have you picked a name for the whole? Oh, is it going to be called The Whole Record?
It's that title is up in the air, but there's some great songs that will be on there that I'm really excited about. I write a lot with, you mentioned Eric Church, but I write a lot with that same camp, like Jeremy Spillman, just one of my favorite writers and collaborators, and Steve Moakler, a very talented guy. But we've written a lot of songs together, and one of them, If My Life Was a Country Song, I put an acoustic version of that on my Instagram, but that'll be on there. And anyway, and some other songs that I'm super excited about.
I love it.
But definitely check out the Half record, guys, if you haven't already. Those listening and watching, if we hadn't lost you by now.
Oh, trust me, they're going to lose
check it out. Yeah, it's country. It's country. It's very 90s country nostalgia meets rock and roll, meets something totally fresh and foreign. But you can't put your finger on it. I think that's why it works. I
can't wait to see it grow. I'm proud for you, girl. I appreciate you coming on here. I love how diversified you are. That's such a cool thing to be able to do. I like the cooking. I like the TV. I like the idea of like a yeehaw kind of, you said Paula Dean meets Jimmy Fallon kind of late night. That's a badass idea. Host some shows on there. It could be like one of those old style music talk shows that used to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be fun. Stand by your pan, stand by your band, all that good stuff. I can't wait for to see all your listeners out on the road, and tell them to check my Bands in Town schedule. Check my website, hannahdash.com, and go to my Instagram and my TikTok, and they can keep up with me and see how they can meet me, and we can go to a show and whatnot. I'd love to meet
I'm going to book you for November. I'm going to go to work right when I get off of here. I'll go to work with you on a text. Do you want to sing one for us today? Does your voice feel like it?
Oh, sure, I can.
I would love it. Do you have one of your guitars sitting around?
I got a ton of them around. It's just a matter if any of them are tuned. Might work.
Ooh, that sounds a little good right there.
I like Merle Kilgore. He was Hank's manager for years. He wore a ring on every finger, and somebody's got to carry that on.
I like it.
But now I'm all fixed up. I'm going to go eat some steak with my banker here tonight.
You're going to?
You're going to my favorite place, Sperry's in town. I love it. They got the best salad bar. It's so dang good. And just good old traditional white tablecloth steakhouse.
I like Johnny A's and Jeff Ruby's.
Hey, Jeff Ruby's great. Take me next time you're in town.
I will for sure. Which one are you going to do?
If you hate driving through Atlanta any time of day, if you stand up for freedom, kneel sometimes when you pray. If your accent gets thicker after cocktail number 3, if that's you, Chad, you're gonna love me. You think Eastwood, Sam Elliott, they've got it going on. And Alan Jackson should have kept that blonde hair long. If I say play Chattahoochee, you don't disagree. If that's you, you're gonna love me. I'm a Birdman Channel, fresh out of Savannah. My people call me Hannah. Age to the down to the deep. Now I ain't for everybody, but I don't try to be. If you like the sound of that, you're gonna love me. Something like that. A little teaser.
I freaking love it. You can rip that guitar.
I thank you for having me, Bubba.
I love that song. And you can rip the guitar.
Thank you. Well,
Ripping it.
If you're going to hold the damn thing, do something with it, you know?
All right. TikTok, Instagram, at Hannah Dasher. HannahDasher.com is the website. Tour dates are there. I was on it today. You have some awesome shows coming up. Then you're going on your tailgater tour.
We got the Grand Prix race, the IndyCar races in Nashville this weekend. I'm excited about. So I'm singing there. It's going to be fun. I think Party's playing, or Brooks and Dunn's playing Friday night. They're headlining. I'm just a little tiny girl, but that's going to be fun. And so yeah, I'm excited.
That is freaking awesome. You and John Party got to do a tour next year.
Yes, we do. We put that into the atmosphere in the name of Jesus. Amen. He told me about me drink bar there, and I was like, HD, why don't you come out on the road with me sometime? I'm like, well, hell, Hoss, I love it. But I'm not going to ask for that kind of stuff. My name's been turned in with a few others, so.
I don't know. I listen to a lot of country music, a lot of obviously traditional stuff, but today with our discussion, I will say that my favorite music male artist right now that's in Nashville is John Party. And I like Morgan. I think Morgan gets a bad rap because he's big. He's right there on that crossover line like Thomas Rhett did. But Morgan is country as hell. He is unapologetic. I know I'm not agreeing with anything that's happened. I'm just saying that country music needs that, like Brent Cobb said on the show a couple weeks ago.
Michael Jackson did, but hell, he's talented. I think it's okay to acknowledge talent. I don't give a shit what you do in your personal life. I mean, everybody makes to make a mistake. Tupac made mistakes. Jay-Z made mistakes.
Elvis made mistakes. We all made mistakes. God.
Yeah, but all that to say, yes, I think he's very talented. And Michael Hardy, I'm a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan of him. You might be a little rednecker than me. I'm a big Hardy fan. I like it. I like it. I love innovation. I love talent. Those guys are badass. But the catalog of John Party, if you listen to it, just go and just start it and do every single one of them, including the ones he just put out from the Fiesta sessions in his own barn. Even when he does Nothing Compares to You, the Sinead O'Connor song that she made a hit that Prince wrote and did originally. Amazing. Like, I love John Party. So I would love to see Hannah Damn Dasher and John Party Time Party throwing down in I don't want it to even be a festival. I want it to be a whole tour, 25 cities or so. I want to be a sponsor.
My liver would never make it, but oh God, we'd have so much fun. I love
We would try. I want to do it.
They're the best live band in town. They're the best live band around.
Who? Party?
Party's band, the All Nighters, yes. Terry Lee and Lee
so good.
Billy, they are the best live band in town. They're the best.
So good. So
Chad,
good.
Thank you for having me, Killer.
Thank you so much for being here. We need to hook up and hang out. And when I'm in Nashville again, I'm trying to get there in September. I talked to Bobby Johnson. Do you know Barrett Hobbs? He owns Nashville Palace, the Scoreboard, Whiskey Band.
Yes. They've reached out to me about that. Yes, he's
great
a fan,
guys.
and I definitely, they're really good to us traditional acts. So I appreciate guys like that here in town.
Yeah, they and I talked to Bobby Johnson today. He's a fan of what you do. He's the booking agent for all of Barrett's properties and a good buddy of mine. But man, I appreciate it. Hannah, you are freaking rad. I'm so proud of what you're doing, and I want to cook with you someday. I want to come watch you live. I want to book you for an event, and we'll throw down. I'm going to get your address. I'm going to ship you some Jack Daniels and some Speckle Belly geese. But don't be telling anybody about the Specks going in the mail. They might get mad at me. But hey, I'm giving my friend Hannah Damn Dasher some waterfowl.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to ship alcohol across state lines, are you?
No, but it's already been cleaned. It's already been cleaned and processed. We're good. But hey, when you cook it, you got to give me a little shout out on it.
You're damn right, I will. Good heavens, absolutely. I appreciate it.
That's Hannah. Hey, listen, I always go out with Leith Lofton and Drake White's What You Gonna Do When the Money's All Gone. But can we go out with a Hannah Dasher original from the new album? Which one can we put on to end this podcast with? I want to go out with one of your songs.
You're Gonna Love Me. Why not?
We're going to go out with You're Gonna Love Me by Hannah Damn Dasher. Get her new EP right now. It's called The Half Record. Check her out online at hannahdasher.com, Instagram, TikTok at Hannah Dasher. Check her out end of August, September, the Tailgate Tour. She's going to be coming to a city, a parking lot, a tailgate near you. Check out Stan by Your Pan on TikTok. She comes up with some badass, out-of-the-box, unorthodox recipes. She is a woman of the South, a family badass. Hopefully one day I can call her a friend. We're pals right now, but when we meet in person, we're going to become fast friends. Hannah D. That's been another episode of This Life Ain't For Everybody. Again, this is You're Gonna Love Me by Hannah Dasher. Tom, Jake, please hit that button.